GM, everyone. My name is Greg Hemmer. Welcome to Shardeum's January 2024 update call. 2024 is the year that Shardeum mainnet goes live, the year we take blockchains from being nonlinear to linear and truly scale decentralization so we can have decentralized systems that are used by users globally and solve problems for billions of people in their daily lives. Today, we're going to cover Shardeum's progress in marketing, business, people operations, ecosystem, and technology in the month of January. We're going to share Shardeum's updated roadmap, where we cover the timeline of our incentivized testnet and mainnet. We are going to talk about the phase 1 airdrop update and answer any questions you have. Please enter your questions in the chat throughout the call, and we'll get to them at the end of the call. Up next, we have Shardeum's co-founder and president, Nischal Shetty. Go ahead, Nischal.
Thanks, Greg. Hey, everyone. Great to be here. And we just released our phase 1 airdrop information, and we would love to get some feedback from you. We've already started getting feedback. I think last I checked, over 400 people have already submitted feedback. But keep those feedback coming. That will help us, better structure this first phase of the airdrop program. Let's see what have we got here. So in Jan, we saw over 225 guest blog posts and videos being submitted as part of the Shardeum is Borderless program. If you recall, the Shardeum is Borderless program is to encourage everyone to submit articles in their respective languages. And I think until now, we've got submissions across from 47 countries in 36 languages. So keep those submissions coming. I think this is the way where we spread the idea of decentralization, not just to English-speaking countries, but to every country around the world. We launched the blockchain quiz, which the kind of participation we saw was beyond our imagination. We had over 48,000 people completing all the 10 quizzes, and we got tens of thousands of more participants, but 48,000 people completed all the 10 quizzes. So if you haven't tried it out, do try it out. In terms of proof of community, we've been going strong. In Jan, we saw over 20 events across 18 cities in 7 countries. We had our proof of community events in India, Nigeria, Japan, Vietnam, Rwanda, Zambia, and Kenya, with over 835 people participating. So proof of community is definitely growing. We've had 2 new proof of community in 2 new regions. One is Japan and the other is Zambia. We intend to launch proof of community in many more new regions this year. In terms of social and community, we've seen until now, we've had over 69 Shardeum leagues created. Shardeum leagues are community owned and operated Shardeum groups across any of the countries and across different topics. So if you're someone who loves creating communities, I think you should participate in Shardeum leagues. This in Jan, we saw two new Shardeum leagues being launched. One was Shardeum Arabia, and the other was Shardeum Arabic. We launched our Web3 Mission 2024 campaign, where the idea was to invite our ecosystem partners who are building on Shardeum to talk about their mission for 2024 in terms of what are their plans with building on top of Shardeum. And we saw over 14 ecosystem partners participating in this campaign, including BitGet Wallet, Speron, Mintair, Solus, and a lot more. And the video has gotten over 100,000 impressions until now. If you recall, in the last update, we had spoken about launching a Telegram group for the dev community, and we've launched a pilot program of that. We now have a small community of developers and founders who are part of this. It's a closed group right now, but the idea is to slowly open that up as more people join in. We've had Shardeum in various media publications in Jan, including on Entrepreneur, Live Mint, Money Control, Business Standard, and a lot of other publications. Can we go to the next slide? Let's look at the metrics now. So Jan has been really good for Shardeum's website in terms of traffic. We saw over 236% growth with 184,000 people landing on the website. The blog traffic also saw an increase. So did our newsletter subscribers. So overall, I think it's a good green month for our metrics. The idea is to continue to grow them, and I think there are a few things that we intend to do next. One is we intend to launch our proof of community in a couple of new countries, namely Malaysia and Thailand. We are also gearing up for our incentivized test campaign, and we look forward to sharing more information about that. I'll now hand it over to Kelsey, who will talk more about the marketing in USA and Europe. Over to you, Kelsey.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey, CGO of Shardeum. I'm based here in New York City. We've seen a lot of exciting traction across the United States over the past couple of months, with a growth up to 6.6% of global users coming from the United States. We held the largest Proof of Community USA-based event in New York City with Harvard Blockchain, along with some other universities, and we got over 125 attendees, which was really exciting for us to see. We've been working with Milk Road, a really large, very reputable newsletter here, to get some of the Shardeum good word out there, which has been a really fruitful partnership so far. And we've been continuing to get out in the press and podcasts recently with Grupo Podcast, Crypto News, Decrypt, DL News, just to name a few. So coming soon, we have a really busy month ahead with Shardeum at ETH Denver. We'll be working with Struck Crypto to host a side event, and we're sharing out all of those details. So if you're in town, please come by and meet us. We're working with Stanford Blockchain at event as well. We're collaborating with Blockworks over the next month or so for both content and working on an event. And then we also have a large content piece through the form of a report that we're working on that you'll be able to get involved with. So we'll have more on that soon. But thank you so much, everyone. We'll hand it over to Shahzad, I believe, next.
Thank you very much, Kelsey, and thank you, Nischal, for all the launching this particular event. At Partnerships and Operations, we have been focusing on getting exchange listings going, and that is extremely critical from a project perspective as we get to mainnet. So we've been talking to the top 20, and hopefully we will start announcing each alliance and agreement as it's signed. So look forward to that, and as we get to mainnet, you'll see a lot more activity at that end. One of the most critical phases during the course of software development is the security audit. And with Shardeum, it's extremely important for us to ensure that the project is absolutely 100% bug-free when we get to mainnet. So working on that with two external security auditors with our internal team, and ensuring that when we get to mainnet, we are extremely secure and solid. So that's been a major activity which we've been ongoing in the last month. We've also finalizing our retail staking partners. We'll be announcing a lot of alliances in the next week or so. Some of them have already been announced. The others are following, including some major agreements with cloud providers. So look forward to seeing that as we move forward. Another area where we have focused on onboarding projects, so getting incentivized testnet. We basically want to have as many projects onboarded as possible, and one of the areas where we've been focusing is gaming, as that's extremely important, from Shardeum's perspective. So you will see a couple of announcements in the next week, and we will have hopefully a lot of games as we get to the incentivized testnet. What to look forward for in the next month is we'll be announcing bug bounties, and these will be announced as a security audit, and exchange listings, which again we'll be announcing very, very soon. So with that, let me hand it out to Jeremy, who has a lot of announcements and the growth of the team here. Thanks.
Thank you, Shahzad. Yeah, exciting month. We have now grown to a team size of 63, which is just a huge growth year over year, with 4 new team members that we added this month. And want to talk about a new initiative in a second, but please check out our open roles that we have on our careers page. We did open up a handful of new ones, and particularly we have 2 new roles in our newly formed open source team under Chris that are really exciting. So please check those out, amplify those to your network for us. I think those will be really exciting. But a new initiative that we have launched, and obviously our community is everything for us. So we wanted to make a really great effort to see how we could, on the People Ops team, lift up our community and our ecosystem. And we partnered with our ecosystem team to launch, and you'll see this on if you navigate to our website's careers page. We have also a company ecosystem page. So you can see all our 15 ecosystem partners right now, and we'll continue to add new ones as we launch them. But across all our ecosystem partners, we have 421 open roles that we're now amplifying and sharing with our community. And so if you don't see a role at Shardeum, maybe you can find one with one of our ecosystem partners and apply there. So continue to hit us up about those when you see them, and we'll see how we can best help you land somewhere really exciting within Web3. So that's it for me. Off to Greg.
Thank you, Jeremy. Plenty of great job opportunities. January was a really exciting month for a few Shardeum ecosystem projects. A team of students from SRM Chennai launched Minter. Minter is a one-click Shardeum validator hosting startup that makes it even easier for anyone that has no technical skill to quickly host and run a Shardeum validator very affordably, to be able to participate in decentralization and support our testnet. And within 1 to 2 weeks, this small team of students with no funding generated over $30,000 in revenue. How exciting is that? I remember when I was in university and I was really excited and passionate about trying to start my own business, and getting your first customers is so challenging. I don't know about you, but when I was in university, I was making about, $200 a week in my internship at best. So, to see these students generate over $30,000 in revenue in 2 weeks and provide a great product that helps support the community is awesome. It goes to show there's a lot of excitement for the projects building on Shardeum and a lot of support for the builders building on Shardeum. Also, one of our other great partners, Pharaon, launched a Telegram bot that makes it very simple and easy to run your own Shardeum validator on the Pharaon cloud from Telegram. So really excited to see that product. And it's awesome how many people are building on Shardeum to make decentralization even more accessible. We're going to continue to see more companies building more products that make it super simple and easy for anyone to run a validator. And that's going to make Shardeum the most decentralized blockchain in the world. Also, one of our ecosystem projects, .shm, announced an exciting UI update that's coming soon. .shm is a domain naming service. So it lets your wallet have a domain name rather than an account address. So users can send you transactions based on your handle, not a hash of confusing numbers and letters. They're also integrating with Zezu, so you'll be able to go on Zezu, look up your handle, and find all your NFTs based on your handle or someone else's handle, again, rather than having to search through confusing account hashes. Coming soon is the launch of Shardeum University education platform. We are really excited for incentivized testnet. We currently have 32 partners confirmed. These are applications and infrastructure products which will be participating in the incentivized testnet. There will be many campaigns for you to participate in, but I know 32 isn't all because some of you are founders of Web3 companies listening to this call. I know you want to join the incentivized testnet as well, so feel free to contact us after this, and we'd love to help run a campaign with you to promote your product and educate users on how to use it. Last but not least, we are launching a campaign of founder workshops with some really talented founders and investors. These workshops are focused on educating people that aspire to become founders in Web3 or early stage founders on different topics to help them get started. Today, you may be working on a new side project that you want to raise venture capital for and turn into a big company in this industry. These workshops are for you. They'll help give you the knowledge and education and connections with talented founders and entrepreneurs to get started. Up next, we have Omar. Take it away, Omar.
All right, thank you, Greg. Good morning, everyone. I'm actually working from my brother's home in Florida today. We came down here to visit my daughter. She's expecting, so going to be a grandpa again for the second time now. So I'm really excited about that. But I remember when she first announced to us that she got pregnant, I was like, wow, this is going to be a race to see like whether she can deliver first or if we can deliver first. But obviously biology wins every time, right? So but yeah, it's but we're making really good progress and heading towards getting our features completed and getting to mainnet. But in the near term, our goal is to launch an incentivized testnet. We currently also have our beta net still up and running. You may have seen the little issue that we had where we had the beta net crash. But one really cool thing that came out of that was that we were actually able to test our restore capability. So we were able to rebuild the whole network again, but not lose any of the user data that's on there. This is probably the first time ever that something like this has been done with a sharded network. With unsharded networks, it's much easier to do that. But in a sharded network where there's no single validator that has all of the data, it's much, much harder to reconstruct everything and get a network going again. So what we just did with that was just amazing. We had done it before in our dev nets, but this is the first time that we did it with like actual data that was on the network from users. So I'm really excited and kind of relieved that that worked. The other thing that I'm kind of excited about is the fact that we've got our patents filed. So there's 3 patents that have been filed. One is on our consensus algorithm. Another one is on how we do the auto scaling. And then the third is on our dynamic state sharding. So with those out of the way, I think we're able to now start focusing on our technical white papers and getting those out to the community as well. And there's a lot of other exciting stuff coming up, and I'm going to turn it over now to Mark, and he can tell you a little bit about our roadmap.
Thanks, Omar. Hi, everybody. It's good to speak with you again. The update this month is pretty exciting. So we've got version 1.9.5 out. It's got a lot of fixes in it. We have a lot of fixes coming for 1.10 and incentivized testnet, which is the next step. 1.10, which will go into incentivized testnet, is possibly the largest release in terms of the projects being added to Shardeum that we will have on the pre-mainnet roadmap. And when we show the roadmap page, you'll see just how many projects are going into 1.10. It also has a lot, and I mean a lot, of performance work, bug fixes, and security work. And we're also preparing for our open source efforts coming up. So we are going to not have quite as many large projects being worked on anymore, and the work is focusing a lot more on the issues that the users are in the community are uncovering by using the network and participating. And so, you know, we get all kinds of bugs that really only happen on the public network that we're running. So we really thank the community for participating and helping us make a better network. I'll keep my update short here. Oh, yeah. So the roadmap image, you can see how many different things are going to be in the 1.10 release. So it's a big update, but I'll hand it over to Andrew.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I would say, like Omar mentioned, the network restore was really exciting to see happen in a real live beta environment. And also, I just wanted to mention that we're kind of doing our best to optimize our engineering efforts. We have to look at what we can do as terms of like fixes and improvements and feature updates and how well they can rotate into a network. So for things that can help the live network 19x that can be rotated in easily, we're taking some of those as hot fixes. But other things that we know will help a lot, maybe it's not too big of a fix on its own, but to make it rotationally safe, you need like another 100-200% work you deal with the complexity there. And so it's a lot easier to just turn that feature on fresh when we start 1.10. So we're kind of playing that balancing act on our efforts since we want to head towards our goals as fast as we can. Then also, yeah, beta network is still the best place for us to confirm our fixes and see when something we do improves the situation. So we do put what we can in there. I'm also excited about the work that we're doing for 1.10. Yeah, it's been great to be able to focus more towards the stability and performance work. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. Thanks. That's it for me.
Thanks, guys. So yeah, I thought we were going to announce and then this would be shown, but it's in front of all of you. We ran this whole voting process for choosing the name for our incentivized testnet, and Atomium seems to have won by a small margin as against Colosseum. The crazy thing was over 100,000 people voted, and to vote you needed to connect your wallet, and then you also needed to do a captcha so that bots could not participate, and it's crazy the kind of response that we received for this voting. Okay, so this is going to be the next big version name, Atomium, and yeah, let's make our incentivized testnet a success. a bit about the airdrop. I think I wanted to just provide some quick feedback to everyone. The blog is live, where we've detailed out what we believe is a fair distribution for the first phase, but there is a feedback form, and we would request you to provide us with feedback, and this is how we will be able to build a more a more fairer airdrop distribution for everyone. I've been seeing a lot of comments on the YouTube live as well, and someone saying, "Is this pre-recorded?" This is not pre-recorded. Just FYI, we are all live. We are actually going to also take your questions after this. But yeah, I can see many are happy, some are a little disappointed. But the objective of this whole exercise is to involve you, hear from you, and then we'll tweak them. But we've detailed out everything. We've put out how many tokens exist in phase 1, what will be the tokens in phase 2. So you've got enough information to now give us comprehensive feedback. Having said that, the ones who do not, who participated in our phase 1, the early adopters of the Shardeum network, even if you do not, qualify for these airdrops, we do intend to have another, sort of a program called as the Early Contributor Program, ECP. And the idea is to provide NFTs for anyone who qualifies with a bare minimum qualification. And these NFTs can be useful in the future. And I'm just going to just tell a few of the ideas. Nothing is concrete because we also need to look at the legal aspects and stuff. But one of the idea that we had in mind was, can we, allow these NFT holders who are all the early community members to be, participating in the maybe the public sale of SHM, or as we go to the mainnet and as we have a lot of ecosystem projects coming up with their own airdrops, maybe the NFT holders who are part of the ECP program would probably get airdrops from these ecosystem partners. And similarly, there'll be a lot more contests. If you look at the distribution, there's a lot of tokens that are reserved for post mainnet activities. So we can consider these NFTs as sort of a qualifier for a lot of those future campaigns as well. Now, again, these are all just ideas. We'll have concrete information once we get deeper into them. We also have to look at the legal aspects of these. So these are just ideas I'm just talking about. So yeah, I think that's about it. Omar, you want to say something about the incentivized testnet?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I remember when we first announced Shardeum, and I mentioned something about, hey, don't lose your private keys. You might need it in the future. And I guess that was enough of a hint for people to pick up that we were considering doing some kind of a airdrop. And now, I've seen like tons of videos on YouTube talking about Shardeum airdrops and things like that. So, well, now things are starting to become more concrete. So, you don't have to speculate about it. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I mean, even, without us explicitly saying that there's going to be an airdrop or anything like that, I mean, the amount of people that contributed and participated in our beta nets and alpha net, this whole time has just been incredible. I never expected that many people to participate, and we actually ended up having to rethink some of our protocol level, algorithms for handling, so many, standby validators and so many nodes trying to join the network at the same time. So that really did help quite a bit. Now, with the incentivized testnet, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe, we might see, maybe at least 2x of what we've seen before. Now that it's out in the open that there's going to be an airdrop for these participants. The other thing is that, keep in mind that as you participate in this, it's not just the Shardeum airdrops that you could get, ecosystem partners that are building projects on Shardeum may also want to give airdrops to the community as well. So there's a possibility there that, you might get additional airdrops from other projects as well too. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And for everybody that's like a Shardeum token holder, we have announced that 1% of the Shardeum supply will be given to the Shardeum token holders as well. So if you're holding Shardeum tokens, that's pretty much guaranteed and a way to get some SHM as well too. It's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to the community participating in our incentivized testnet and helping us learn more about how the community will be using the network in the future. Yeah.
By the way, also I think for those who don't know, this today is the second year anniversary of Shardeum's launch. We announced Shardeum on the 2nd of Feb in 2022, and today is the second year anniversary, and we are now on the verge of launching the incentivized testnet and then going to the mainnet. So we are towards the tail end of our product development journey, and we are amazed by the community that we've been able to gather around this amazing project. Over 1 million people are now part of the Shardeum ecosystem. We've got hundreds of dApps who are either building or have committed to deploying on the mainnet. We've raised over $25 million in funding, which has helped us build this project rapidly. So yeah, I think overall, I think it's been an amazing 2 years, and we look forward to many more years with the mainnet and building it into one of the largest blockchain networks in the world. That's our goal, making decentralization accessible to everyone. So we look forward to your continued support as we go on this path. I think it's time to take questions. I can see a lot of questions around it's airdrop day. So
yes,
a lot of questions around that.
Airdrop day. Well, what an exciting 2-year anniversary. Thanks everyone for asking great questions and for all your participation in our testnets. Nischal, everyone wants to know, are we tracking participation from the first testnet that we'll consider for the airdrop?
Absolutely. So the team has been taking snapshots ever since we launched our testnet, and all of these things have been taken into consideration. So yeah, it's not like only the last few versions or something. We've taken snapshots consistently after every launch of a new testnet. So yeah, everyone's efforts are going to be looked into before we provide the airdrops.
Got it. So even if you ran a validator on a previous testnet, but then that testnet went down and you weren't able to reinstall and update the validator for the next testnet, do we still track you running a validator on a previous testnet?
Yeah, we do that, and we've also provided weightage to those people who've run from the beginning, and people who've run on maximum testnets. So there's a lot of thought that has gone into this. I did see some comments on people saying that, what about if I've run it from, let's say, the last 1 year versus someone who's run for a month? Are we the same? Maybe I need to see if maybe our blog does not mention that, but we've definitely considered those aspects.
Awesome. And does it matter if your node has been active in the testnet or not? Some nodes are on standby. because there's 19,000 or more validators sometimes. They don't get a chance to go active. Are we tracking the status of each individual node, or do we just care that people are running nodes?
Yeah, so the thing is, we always knew that the testnet is all about testing out how the network operates, and there have been times where nodes have not been able to go into active status and they've been in standby. So what we did is we decided to consider the number of hours that you ran your node either as standby or active. So there's no difference, so you don't have to worry about some bug that prevented your node from being from going from standby to active. It's all part of the same effort. If you're running a node, if it's part of the network, either as standby or active, it's going to be considered.
Awesome. And are we measuring contributions that are off chain? And
Yeah.
Also, how can people get involved in contributing to the project off chain?
Yeah. So off-chain contributions are definitely included, and in fact, I think we've made it clear in the blog as well. So we've got broadly 4 categories. One is the off-chain contributors. The second is on-chain contributors, people who tried out the testnet at various phases. The third are the developers who've been deploying their products on chain, and the fourth are the node validators. And all of these 4 categories are considered. Off-chain would involve a variety of things. I mean, over the period, I remember the early day where we had people who helped us with the logo. The Shardeum logo is completely community designed, and there have been people who helped us with the website design and with the development of the website. We've also had people who created Shardeum leaks that I just spoke about. We've got multiple Shardeum leaks. We've got people on Discord who've been contributing. They've been helping other members, understand Shardeum, solve their problems while running nodes. We've also, had a lot of people who've been attending these live events, understanding, and then going back and writing blog posts around that, making YouTube videos around, how to run your own validator nodes. So these are all the off-chain contributions, and there are a variety of ways in which you can participate, and you can continue to do it, because the idea is to continue creating new reward pools so that future contributors are also rewarded. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to participate in the Shardeum ecosystem.
Wonderful. And how does the token breakdown work for the airdrop? What percent of our total supply do we have allocated to this?
So overall, we've got 5%, which is exclusively as part of the ecosystem airdrop. But apart from that, we've got 51% of the tokens reserved for people who will be running validator nodes on the mainnet. And the most important thing to know is that this is a completely permissionless way to run your nodes. There's no restrictions. We also intend to keep a low barrier to entry in terms of the amount of stake that would be required. So yeah, overall, I think 56% is sort of reserved, of which 5% would be a direct airdrop, which is divided between pre-mainnet and post-mainnet. And in our blog, we've also provided the distribution of these rewards.
Awesome. Off the top of your head, one community member wants to know if either of you know how many validators have participated in our testnets.
I think I don't remember, but definitely I think tens of thousands of them. But I don't think I have an exact number right now. At some point, I remember we've seen over 35,000 validators running simultaneously. So the overall number must be, I think, 40 to 50,000. We did try to cover as many people, but then it's simply too huge a number. So we had to come up with some minimum criteria, the minimum number of hours that you run your node to qualify for the airdrop.
Yeah, I think we could produce that metric offline, but
yeah,
off the top of our head, not sure. But less than 100,000, and like Nischal mentioned, probably 40 to 50. And Nischal, in you were mentioning developers are, some of the people whose contributions we're measuring. I think we're entering one of the most important periods of the testnet for developer contribution, Omar, with the code going open source and the security work we're doing. What are some ways developers can get involved before we launch mainnet?
Yeah, this is going to be a really critical time. Like once we have our incentivized testnet up, more of our source code is going to be available. We're going to start with putting out the Explorer source code, and then the RPC servers, and then the validators and so forth. And as we put that out, one of the biggest ways that people can contribute and even earn bounties for it is to look at that code to see if they can spot any vulnerabilities, if they can find any ways that, like, maybe they could run a validator and somehow earn themselves more coins than they're supposed to, all kinds of things that you can try to do to see if there's different ways that the network could be broken or exploited. And so that's going to be really, really important, because the sooner that we discover these and get them fixed, the sooner we'll feel more confident to be able to release our mainnet. So when you contribute in this way, you're actually contributing to helping the network become more secure and helping us get to mainnet faster.
Awesome. Thanks, Omar.
So we've got our numbers. So looks like 130,000 validators have participated until now.
Yeah, that's amazing. I shouldn't have made assumptions. They proved me wrong. 130 is a huge number. It's just a sign of how easy it is for anyone to run a validator on Shardeum. I don't know how many blockchains can say 130,000 validators have been run during their testnet period. So that's really great.
Absolutely. Also, I think while I need to look at we'll need to look at the stats, but I think this phase one of our airdrop is probably one of the largest incentivized testnet airdrop. I don't even know if there's been any airdrops for just contributors, but it was Shardeum's objective all the time that everyone who's going to contribute as a community in our growth in any aspect would get rewarded, and that's exactly what we've done, and we'll continue to do that, which is have an inclusive program so that everyone gets rewarded, everyone who's helping Shardeum grow. So this is one of those unique programs that has been launched in the entire Web3 ecosystem, and we are glad that we are getting so many good and harsh feedback, but I think these are the things that will help us make this program better. So keep those feedback coming.
Great. Nischal, the final two questions are, what are some of the constraints we've had and that we have in designing this airdrop as the Shardeum Foundation? And also, why should people be excited about this airdrop and participating in our incentivized testnet?
So I think the biggest constraint with any popular project is there's just so many participants, and how do you ensure that your ultimate aim is reward everyone, but unfortunately the rewards are always limited. It doesn't matter how big a pie is, it's always going to be limited. And we had to take some hard decisions, which was, what are the qualifiers? What are the minimum criteria? And after we had those minimum criteria, we still had a massive amount of people. So we had to, at times, randomize some of the rewards, while at the same time ensuring that the largest contributors are rewarded. So some parts we've had to bring in chance, more like a luck factor. But for the largest of contributors, it's more straightforward. So yeah, I think that has been one of the larger challenges. But again, very happy to receive feedback and figure this out better with everyone. What was the second part of your question?
And why should people be excited about Shardeum's airdrop and participating in the incentivized testnet?
Yeah. So I think you can see the incentivized testnet is still being planned. We have some interesting ideas in mind. The good thing is we've opened up what the allocation is going to be, so you can look at that. The most important thing is if you look at the vesting schedules of the Shardeum tokens, the first 3 months there's no vesting for any of the team or the investors. And this is where these airdrop tokens. So while we've not decided the vesting for the airdrop token, the idea is to give it as soon as possible. Maybe it might take a few weeks, or maybe on day one. We don't know. We'll figure that out, because again, we need to understand a bit from the legal point of view and the implementation of these airdrops. But it'll be faster than the rest of the tokens that would be locked for a longer time period. So this is probably the only way, apart from maybe the public sale that happens, in which you can get the tokens, any SHM. So I think that's the most important thing. This is something that money can't buy at this stage. It's only your efforts, only your contributions that will get you to an SHM token. So that's the most important thing to remember when you participate in this.
Awesome. Omar, at the start of the call, I mentioned that Shardeum will take blockchains from nonlinear to linear. What does that mean?
So basically, when we think about the TPS on a blockchain, you have, most blockchains are designed so that there's some upper capacity on how much TPS they can do. Now, newer generations are coming out with higher TPS by using, basically super nodes and reducing the number of nodes and so forth. So that kind of, decreases the decentralization, but increases the scalability. But at the end of the day, there's still some upper limit on how much, transaction capacity a network has. And when a network first starts, everybody's really happy and excited, and people are seeing very low transaction fees because the usage is really low. But as that network gets more and more popular and the usage actually starts to approach the capacity of the network, the transaction fees start to go up exponentially higher. So that's referred to as non-linear. And there's no way that the network can do anything about it other than going back to the drawing board and redesigning everything, and figuring out how do we make architectural changes to the network to try to handle that capacity. And a lot of times what they end up doing is trying to offload it onto layer 2s and like the new thing that's coming out now with the inscriptions. You're basically kind of handing over the part of the trust of the network to other layer 2 networks or other parties, and then just using the main network as a place to just kind of notarize and record data. That wasn't the original intention of networks. So with Shardeum, the way we've designed it is that when we have 1,000 nodes, let's say that gives us 50 TPS, for example. Well, if we increase the number of nodes to 2,000, we're now going to go to 100 TPS. So what that means is that we can always increase our network capacity without having to go back and re-architect the network or relaunch the whole network. And so that allows our scaling to be linear. and our transaction fees will stay constant. So that's really, really important. And I think people don't give as much importance to making sure transaction fees can stay constant as they need to be, because think about it from a developer's point of view. If you're going to build something, deploy it on a network, attract a community of users to use your dApp, the last thing you want to happen is for the transaction fees to go really high when your dApp gets popular, and then users aren't able to transact and use your dApp. So there's a lot of applications out there that could be decentralized, which just haven't been. And that's because the cost of the transactions are either too high or they're not guaranteed to be low. So why build it? And so I think, with Shardeum, we're going to be changing all that. And I think with that change, I think we'll start to see lots of new types of dApps be deployed that we haven't seen before.
Amazing. Thank you, Omar. Yeah, the airdrop is so exciting for, users. But, what's more exciting is the impact Shardeum's going to have on the world and on this industry, and unleashing decentralization and making it easy, affordable, and accessible for everyone to use with auto scaling and no fee markets. Nischal and Omar, I think that covers most of the questions today. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, just one question that I saw. I think someone's asking whether from the airdrop token pool, if something's not rewarded, would that go to the treasury? And I wanted to clarify that the 5% that is reserved is exclusively for the community, and it does not mean that if we do not provide those tokens to as part of the airdrop, it would go to the treasury and the treasury will use it. It's completely reserved for the ecosystem. And we've also given the breakdown in the blog post on what percentage is involved in the 3 phases that we have, which is the early contributor, the incentivized testnet, and the mainnet. So there's no question of these tokens going to the treasury or something. It's completely reserved for the ecosystem. Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else you guys would like to discuss with the community?
I mean, on my end, I'm pretty excited for the way forward, and the pace has picked up now. There's a lot more development activity going on. The team is pushing new updates constantly, and we're going to reach a stage where we'll be ready for the incentivized testnet pretty soon. And we look forward to all of you participating in that phase as well. It's a new phase, and I think we'll make sure that the early contributors are also considered. That's where the ECP program comes into the picture. So looking forward to everyone participating in the incentivized testnet.
Yeah, same here. I'm really excited about getting the incentivized testnet out and seeing the community participate in that. And it's going to be really exciting to see how many validators nodes that we have joining that network now and what new challenges we face. But yeah, it'll be great. It'll help us learn a lot. And, the more we learn now, the stronger our network will be. Like they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So yeah, I'm looking forward to our network getting stronger day by day as we roll out the incentivized testnet, and the community helps us, find those issues and helps us build a stronger network. So
awesome. Thank you, Omar. Thank you, Nischal. And thanks to everyone in this community. What an exciting 2 years it's been. We're happy to be on this journey with all of you. And I'm so excited to see what happens over the next year and, look into the future at our 3rd year anniversary. Omar, any updates from the hospital during this meeting?
No, not yet. We're still expecting, but yeah, anytime now. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, everyone, please wish Omar and his family, a healthy birth of his granddaughter and a healthy, happy life. Thanks everyone for joining. next up, as we mentioned, now we can say that we're measuring everything, including the POAP. You have 5 minutes to mint in the next 5 minutes. Who knows, what utility this POAP could have in the future. But for the next 5 minutes, if you're on this call, we want to appreciate your participation in this event with this POAP. Please visit the link on the screen or scan the QR code to mint the POAP. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next month for the next update.
Thanks, everyone.